I'm going to start by clicking on the editing tab up top, which will guide us into the editing workspace so we have more room to edit with our sequences, and so we can see both the source viewer and the program viewer over here on the right. Now, I'm going to start by taking this dissolve clip, the clip of the resort, and I'm just going to click on it and drag it down here to this little icon to create a brand new sequence. And what's great about this option right here is that this button, when I drag the clip directly onto it, will create a new sequence based off of all of the parameters from the clip that I'm dragging into it. So that way I won't have to guess about the screen resolution or the frame rate or anything of that nature when it comes to adding clips. And this is important with 360 footage because if we don't set our parameters in the sequence properly, it can really screw up or distort our image. So now that our first clip is inside of a sequence, I'm going to go up to the program window and simply right click and look for the VR video option right here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to enable the VR video option. And as soon as I do that, you'll notice how the screen has changed. So what are we looking at exactly? Well, this is actually the VR simulation. And what's really great about this is now all I have to do is click right on the image, drag my mouse, and it moves the camera around as if I were wearing 360 goggles. And you'll also notice too on the right and at the bottom that we see the Y and the X axis moving when I move the mouse. Now let's optimize the window here because it's currently a little too small. So I'm going to right click again and go down to VR video, and notice how we have this settings option right here. I'll give it a click. Now there's something I should probably clarify just in case you ever happen to have this headache. If you go to Adobe's website and you ever look for anything that tries to train you on turning on these settings, a lot of their documentation may say something different when you click on the settings option like we've done now. The current view that I have here is set to stereoscopic view left. And in theory, that's incorrect because this is actually shot in monoscopic, or with one camera, a dome-shaped camera. And the first impression you might get is, well, why does it say stereoscopic if we shot it in mono? And I'm not 100% certain about that either, but after speaking with Adobe, they confirmed that this is correct. Depending on the resolution of your actual clip, sometimes you may see the monoscopic option and you may be able to change the settings accordingly, and other times it just says stereoscopic view left or stereoscopic view right, but Adobe still assumes this is monoscopic because it's going to be a left or a right. It's going to be one channel. If this box were to say stereoscopic view left and right, then we'd have a problem. But because it's just concentrated on one clip, it could be left or right, and the fact that it has one view in this current setting tells us that this is indeed one monoscopic view of 360-degree content. So if you happen to find yourself stuck, lost, or frustrated over this seemingly weird option, you can relax. Now, the reason we came in here to begin with was to change the monitor view because it's currently too small. Right now it's set to 90 by 60, so I'm going to change this into 180, and for the vertical, I'll set it to 90. And when I click OK, you'll notice that now we have a much better 16 by 9-ish preview. And I can click my mouse and see a lot more in the image than we could before. Now I'm currently in a quarter resolution over here on the right, which means that my computer is playing at a quarter of the full resolution for this clip because it is 4K. But just to give you a better feel, I'm going to come down and select full instead. That way you can get a really good feel of how crisp this footage is and how well it was shot. Okay, so moving down, I'm going to go to my next clip here from our Dissolve series, and I'll double click on it to load it into the source program window. Go ahead and play it here. And I'm going to activate the VR options in this window as well. But instead of right-clicking and having to go down to VR video and choosing enable, instead I'm going to create a shortcut right underneath the actual player. And I can do that by coming down here to the right where we have this little plus button. And when I give it a click, I'm going to look for the VR option, which is this little guy right here on the left. And I'm going to drag him right into the bottom of the source monitor. Click OK, and now when I give this button a click, I'll automatically activate the VR view. And as you'll notice, we need to fix this setting here as well because we are seeing a very small box again. So I'll give it a right click, go down to VR video, and settings. And in this box, I'm going to change it again to 180/90. Click OK. And that displays my 16:9 ratio. Now, one final tip here. This looks fine, and it's really cool that I can see everything, but I want to see more. Typically, I could click and move the y-axis up and down, or the x-axis left and right, but instead, let's just eliminate those altogether so we can declutter this whole window and get a better view of what we're working with. So I'm going to right-click one more time, right on the footage, go down to VR Video, and choose the Hide Controls option. There we go. Doesn't that look so much better? In fact, I'm going to do that to the program window as well. So I'll give it a right click, VR Video, Hide Controls, and bam, now we have a much wider and better perspective of what's going on in this 360 video. And because we have the VR mode on, we can still click and drag around to see exactly what's happening in both the source and the program monitors.